Alright, hope everybody's having a good one. Welcome to Alchemy League Season 4 Casting with Cookie Pirate. Today, I've got two sets. First one is going to be from Round 1. We have Snapy versus WeanDinchester. And the second set we'll be doing is... Oh, hold on. I've got to pull the list. Make sure I have the right one set into it. Oh yeah, Chanchilaru versus HappytheAndy. From round 2. Hey, Tech Chariot, welcome in. Good to have you. Let me go ahead and kick off the regular kind of background music. And as always, let me know if it's too loud or too quiet, and I can fine-tune it. Before we jump into this set, I do want to mention there's only one game. For whatever reason, I don't know the details exactly, but the players were only able to get one game completed. So that is the one that I'm going to cast from this set. Still wanted to feature it because it's in the past we haven't featured incomplete sets or ones with any sort of I guess you could say dubious content. Not that there is any in this, but because it is only one game, in the past we wouldn't have featured it. But I've decided that this time I do want to feature at least the one game, because these are, number one, they're high-level players playing on a custom map for the league. And I think it would still be a good opportunity to showcase what they were able to play. Here's a SIF draft. WeanDinchester has banned the Mongols, the Portuguese, and the Italians, and Snapy banned the Koreans, Persians, and Vikings. I don't see a ton of Vikings bans, but perhaps maybe because they don't want a really superior force on... Well, I should say superior force, but they don't want a civ that would be superior and dominant on water, because the map that they're going to be playing is on water. No map draft. Excuse me. They did mention the one map that they picked is Kodiak Island. Well, we just call it Kodiak. Based on Kodiak Island, of course, in Alaska. So we cut that there. We'll go ahead and pull up the view of Capture Age. There we go. So, before I get started here, we have WeanDinchester in blue. On the left side, he's playing as the Georgians. And Snapy in gray on the lower right is playing as the Japanese. Let's go ahead and get the game rolling here. Kodiak is actually my creation, and I believe it is a very good map. However, you are going to hear me be highly critical of it, because I can talk about the map from a perspective that nobody else can, given that I made the map, and I can also give insight into my intended design for it and how it ultimately has differed a little bit. This is the summer version of the map, and is my least favorite. I think the fall versions are much prettier. But important to note, unlike a couple of the other maps you've seen, the seasonal variation on Kodiak does not affect the gameplay. It's just there for looks. Tech says, I love this generation of the map. Are you talking about the season or the actual, terrain configuration? So, I'll let him answer that. But anyway, so you have one large island that has kind of a very irregular, jagged coastline, although it's a little bit more so down here. And it's a little smoother on this eastern side of the map. And then you have in the four corners you have a few very small islands, very few resources on them. The terrain configuration, yeah, I agree with you on that. This is the way it came out as I'd really intended it. Players start in a valley, kind of, on each side of the island, and they're separated by a mountain range. It is not impassable, but it is difficult to pass up over that. Over here, again, we talked about the irregular coastline. These generally shouldn't happen. These are giving WeanDinchester what I would call a very slight advantage that he has. It looks like just two. Yeah, two groups of shorefish. Kind of at his home base. That it's very irregular just because of the way the land is configured, but there is this little bay kind of at the halfway point. It is a little closer to WeanDinchester here. There's a bay within. All of the relics are on the main island, and I thought about changing that up, but I think it would have been very onerous to get players to have to sail out to try to get the relics off of the 4 islands, and I thought by doing that they would probably get neglected. And disappointingly, I haven't seen anybody really do anything with these outer islands, and they've ultimately just been for show. So that's an aspect that I'm critical of how I designed that. I had the intention that players would actually set up and use the resources, but I guess there's just not really any value into doing that. In terms of the matchup, we've got the Georgians and the Japanese. Japanese, I believe, get their fishing bonus. Georgians are interesting here. Towers and the Manaspas. Good cav. Tough to see which one would have the overall advantage, at least for me. We do have Snapy getting Loom. I don't know, did he... Yes, yeah, WeanDinchester already got Loom. I hear bears huffing. Yes, we have... And actually, the bears with the food that are just basically reskinned strong boars. My idea for that originated from this map, because the Kodiak bear are a form of brown bear. A lot of people pumped them. And there are a lot of berry bushes on this map because bears are very plentiful on Kodiak Island. And, oh yes, oh look at this. We have a bear lure. Better hurry up and kill him. Alright, he gets the bear. And there is a mule cart. And I don't know if it's just set up like that and it looks kind of weird. Yeah. Oh, we just repaired it. Yeah, so it got broken a bit, but it is repaired. And it does look like you actually can drop the bear meat off into the mule cart. Of course, the Georgians get access to that. The Georgians and the Armenians, and it's one of my favorite things about those two civs is these mule carts. So you still, I believe, can build mills, but you don't need to worry about building mining camps or lumber camps. Instead, these are mobile, and you can drop multiple different types of resources off into them. Well, no, yeah, you never built... No, you start with one, I think, but you can build additional ones. Otherwise, the bear may kill builders. Yeah, kill the bear, then build the drop points. Yeah, I agree with that, but since they're mobile, you can do a little bit different things with them here. The disadvantage to the mule carts is that it is much easier to destroy them than it would be to destroy a traditional mining camp or a lumber camp. Snapy is hit feudal. WeanDinchester is about 45 seconds out from feudal. So we have some palisade walls here. Palisade walls and a house here. These are all from WeanDinchester trying to shore off access. Uh-oh. Hold on. Oh, look at that right here. Just trying to wall that off. Yeah, so they're It is difficult to get through, but there are gaps in the trees. Yeah, you cannot wall to the mule cart either for small walls. Yes, yeah, because it's a mobile unit and not technically considered a building. Alright, WeanDinchester has hit feudal. It looks like Snappy's Eagle Scout was harassing the builder of these walls up here, but no casualty. Snappy himself making very tight walls of his own around his home base. So the players just want to play defensively. Snappy's villagers under attack. Where? Over here. Oh yeah, now WeanDinchester has the eagle harassing a villager. But Snappy's got some galleys that are actually taking some pop shots here. Is that a fight that he's gonna win? He actually is. So Snappy using some villagers to kill WeanDinchester's Eagle Scout. About the Eagle Scout. That is the unique unit for most of the Alaska maps. We wanted to try something with one of the actual eagles that fly. The game mechanics didn't work out, and so we decided an Eagle Scout. Because eagles representative of the state of Alaska. Also, if you are not playing as a Mesoamerican civ, also have the advantage of being able to tell if your starting scout is alive, given that you will not make another Eagle Scout. So if your Eagle Scout is alive, you can tell that the player still has their starting scout. Just a very minor nuance. But the Eagle Scout also has the advantage of being stronger in the Dark Age than a traditional Scout, and weaker in the Feudal Age. So, extra little twist there. Couple maps don't have the Eagle Scout, for various reasons that we'll talk about when we get to those specific maps, but of course on Kodiak does have the regular Eagle Scout for players to start with here. WeanDinchester has clicked up to Castle, and he's about 25 seconds out from it. Snappy, not quite going up. I like this, though. We've got galleys. That's actually a pretty good grouping of galleys. It looks like 6 here, then a 7th. Uh-oh! Snappy's fishing ships are under attack from a fire galley from WeanDinchester, and kind of having to flee the area. It looks like Snappy's gonna go harass WeanDinchester's own fishing ships. However, he's got some fire ships over here prepared for that. Now, he could take these fire ships down pretty easily with this number of galleys, and then harass the fishing. Snappy has just clicked up to Castle. Now we have an upgrade to war galleys for WeanDinchester, and an upgrade to fire ship as a result, and now these are in trouble. And we're going to see some play on water. Here's another area that I'm going to be critical on my map about. I intended water to be used lightly, whereas I wanted players to go out and take advantage of the fish. I mean, there's a ton of fish, and rightfully so. I mean, the Alaskan waters are just full of fish. But I've seen a lot more water combat than I intended when I made the map. So maybe I should have made these corner lands, the small islands, more plentiful to really restrict the movement of ships. Perhaps limiting the ability to have combat on water. And just more room for land combat. Although maybe just that's kind of inherent with this kind of map. And maybe there is no scripting the combat out per se. Short of actually going and disabling ships, like combat ships. And I, in my right mind, am not going to do that, because that's a rule change, and that is a really substantial rule change that would allow people to just fish unimpeded. And I do like water combat, and I don't want to see it eliminated. I just didn't want to see as much of it as I have on this. Yeah, bigger islands, yes, but the problem with that tech is that you start getting too close to the edges of the land, and then you're cut off, basically. I still wanted to be able to have ships circle around the island, as opposed to it being almost like a 4 lakes or a 4 bays style map. But yeah, we got a ton of water combat here. Fire ships harassing fishing ships, fire ships fighting each other, and then there's a good bit of that up here. So we have some war galleys harassing WeanDinchester's fishing ships, and down here we have WeanDinchester with fire ships harassing Snapy's fishing ships, but then Snapy with some fire ships of his own to try to counter these. And if you take a look here, their kill to deaths aren't too far apart, but the ego, it's 4 to 7 and 7 to 5. So the question is, what happened to that 5th eco unit that Snapy lost? Was it a villager on land, getting attacked by a land unit? Was it a loss to a bear? I don't know. WeanDinchester's hunt. Oh yeah, nope, look here. So it could have been a bear. These bears will chase you if you get too close, unlike a regular boar. You don't have to attack to start them getting pursued. Oh, but take a look here. Wow! Well, that was unusual. I was gonna say, however, unlike traditional predators, the bears are on defensive stance and won't chase you across the map. If you run away, the bear will stop pursuing. Interestingly, we saw the bear charge these Manaspas, and that ended horribly for the bear. But now these Manaspas making a move on Snappy's base. Got down through the walls. Snappy trying to quickly throw some buildings up to block access for the Manaspas. These Manaspas are tough, and a unique feature with them is that they are actually stronger in larger numbers. So if you send a couple on their own, you're not going to get much out of them. But if you send a large group of them, you're going to get additional strength. It is literally strength in numbers here. And yeah, just kind of looking at the wood collection. Oh, here comes a monk to chase off the Manaspas. Oh, but now we've... Oh! Mangonel's actually taking chip shots at the... I got the monk. I was thinking he was going for the buildings, but the Mangonels just flattened 2 villagers and flattened a monk. Oh, man. And that could spell a bit of trouble for Snappy here. Excuse me. Ton of fishing ship or fire ships. Both players have been yeah, they've been stopped from fishing. But Snappy has control of the water. But that is quite a cost there because WeanDinchester is in on land. Take a look at this Devotion Scaleboarding Armor. Sanctity of Snappy. I like these castles that the Georgians and the Armenians get. I really like the architectural design of the buildings. Ha. And, oh, well, yeah, no, there's free passage in, so Snappy is... Yeah, he's gonna lose these. He's in trouble there. But a good group of monks that are gonna try to get some conversions there. And WeanDinchester has evened out the eco kills. Pretty much. Mangonel's coming in to wreak some havoc. Let's see, WeanDinchester has got scale-boarding armor at the blacksmith, but no upgrade for the attack, and he's in castle and only has the fuel. So I think we'll see an upgrade of that here. Mangonel's just chipping away at that. But it looks like Snapy has a Mangonel of his own, but he's outnumbered here. And there's a lot of pressure up on Snapy at his home base. That is a ton of Monaspos, and the Mangonels to back him up. Although he is doing some damage here. The mill's gonna go down, but this just really doesn't equate to much. All these are doing are basically ensuring that WeanDinchester can't get back on water, but Snapy has much bigger problems to worry about on land. And I'm glad to see a transition to land combat. That it isn't just a fight on water the entire time. And importantly, WeanDinchester has taken control of the mountain range, or the mountain pass, or both, because it is a mountain range, and then there are just various passes that the units can get up and over, and that was my intent on the design. There have been some seeds of the map where it has been almost completely blocked off, forcing players to go water or around the edges, and then there have been some where it's just a bit too open. And I really like the configuration here, where there are access points up and over, but they're limited. And WeanDinchester has taken control of all of that. Snapy will have a difficult time getting up over the mountain range. Because WeanDinchester has units guarding it, and he has buildings guarding it, and the pass down close to Snappy's valley. Snapy getting Bodcanero here. I don't think that's for the ships. Are we going to see him tech into some sort of ranged land unit? I would like to. But the Japanese, their unique units are infantry. That'd be the samurai. And oh, look at this, a very aggressive castle from WeanDinchester. Oh. And this could be ugly for Snapy if this is allowed to go up. And it's gonna be allowed to go up because WeanDinchester has it secured with Monaspos, and Snapy just doesn't have an ability to... Yikes. To prevent it, but he does have cav archers. Japanese cav archers. Japanese cav archers. Huh. I mean, it just sounds kind of weird saying that because you just don't really see that. But it could be an interesting, oh, sorry there. An interesting choice that might catch WeanDinchester a little bit off guard, because who in their right mind are going to expect Japanese cav archers? Unless there's been some update to the unit, or to the civ that, that I'm not aware of. Given that I'm not really closely involved with playing the game and all the changes to the civs, I just make maps and cast games. And I probably should pay a little more attention to those. Okay, so maybe I'm not as crazy. Yeah, and I'm not forgetting something, because Tech agrees that is kind of a strange choice. But there is the advantage of the element of surprise. Possibly catching WeanDinchester off guard. WeanDinchester has hit Imperial. We have Heresy coming up. Wow. Plate boarding armor. And Snapy has clicked up to Imperial as well. And I'm glad to see this go to the late game. Kind of interesting. Gold shaft mining, hand cart, stone mining. We do have an upgrade to Bodcanero, and we do have an upgrade to padded archer armor. one thing I pointed out yesterday is I did not see much use of upgrades to the blacksmith, and I want to see more of that. Yeah, heresy is a massive investment. But that's given that Snapy has used monks to try to convert the Manaspas. I can understand why WeanDinchester would go that route. We have an upgrade to elite Manaspas. That's gonna be huge for WeanDinchester here, I believe. Oh, when these are in and they're chasing these cav archers just kind of around, and they're going down. Villagers are just getting massacred here. And unlike some of the maps that we saw yesterday, there's really not much room to build out. So if your home base is raided and you don't have a quick answer to defeat that, you are basically out of luck. So protecting your home base is essential on this map. Now, given the configuration of the terrain and the forests and stuff like that, it makes it more intuitive to protect your home base and makes it, I would say, easier to do so. However, if you fail to protect your home base adequately, it will probably basically cost you the game. And we can just see WeanDinchester moving in. Aggressive castle, trebuchets taking down Snappy's defensive castle here. And the mangonels, have they been upgraded to onagers? Did the mangonels get taken out? Maybe? I don't know. Guess maybe you don't really need them too much now that you have trebuchets. Yeah, but I really don't see much of a way of how Snappy can get back into this. Now, interestingly, I do want to point out, he has more military units on the board, but he is under tremendous pressure here at his home base, and I believe the majority of his military units on the board are ships. So he may be outnumbered on land. Oh, yeah, he calls the GG right there. Yeah, tech. There might be a little bit of a delay in the stream. But yeah. Yeah, I think the majority of them were on water. Now, he did have some cav archers down here. But, Snappy calls the GG WeanDinchester. WeanDinchester wins the match. I should have changed this. It is a play all one. Single match. We talked about that for whatever reason. The guys couldn't play both games in the set. WeanDinchester gets the win here. 49 elite Manaspas for the most units created, and then 45 cav archers for Snappy. Now let's take a look at the stats. This is going to be interesting. You can kind of see that there. Military, WeanDinchester just had the dominating score throughout. Eco, yeah, as WeanDinchester was able to put more pressure on Snappy, able to take him off of some resources effectively. But take a look at this, their score, their technology score. I find this impressive. There's a difference of 7 in the technology score. So they were pretty on par with that. And society, WeanDinchester having 3 castles put together compared to 1 from Snappy. I'm having to drink a lot of water. This is one game, I've got 2 more to go. And I'm also going to take a short break after going over the stats, and then we'll set the second setup. There's your overall score, difference of about 2,000. And there's just a lot going on to discuss. I didn't even look at their idle TC time and idle eco percentages. We'll take a look at that before I before I exit out of this and pull the next setup. Yeah, gulp, gulp, gulp. Kill to death ratio, yeah, about 2 3/4 to 1. If you take a look at the overall, kills and losses, 159 to 58 for WeanDinchester, and 58 is the number that Snapy killed, and he lost 2 additional, and I believe that would have been possibly a conversion, and one perhaps maybe going down to a bear or something like that. Raised to destructions, 11 to 8. Snapy takes the lead with conversions. He did convert 14 units, and I can see he was using those pretty early, and I can understand, although it is a very costly investment, I can understand why WeanDinchester would have gotten Heresy, because those Manaspas are expensive. I don't think he wanted to lose any of them, or at least not be able to give them to Snapy. And I think in that case, it is justifiable to get Heresy. Particularly because if he was able to convert a large number of WeanDinchester's units like Manaspas, yeah, that could have been really costly. Could have. I'm not saying it would have, but it could have turned the tide, or at least given Snapy a major leg up to get at least the situation stabilized out. Pun not intended there. That was just a misspeak. Stabled out. I'll make the pun though for the cavalry units. Army high 28 to 55. Snapy actually having a larger. Oh, skip the eco tab. Resource collection was actually a little bit more even here. Very close on wood collection. WeanDinchester collecting more food, although Snapy was able to... I did see toward the end of the match he was able to get some fishing ships back out on the water, since he did have water control. Gold collection, stone collection there. Relics. I never even noticed this, and I should have. But WeanDinchester got 2 of the relics, was able to pull a little bit of gold. Snapy got 1 relic and was able to pull even a little bit of gold as well. Let's look at their times. A 56-second difference into feudal for Snapy, ahead of WeanDinchester. About a 3.5-minute difference here into castle, and both players getting into imperial with about a 2-minute difference. Snapy had a higher exploration of the map at 85% compared to about 65% for WeanDinchester, and technology counts were not too far off. Society scores, Vilmax 128 to 103. Snapy having far more fishing than WeanDinchester did. 3 castles to 1, we mentioned that, and I am going to go back out of the stats and we'll take a look at their idle times. WeanDinchester having about half the idle TC time that Snapy did, and about a third, will that be about 40% perhaps of the, no, it actually is pretty close to triple the amount of time that the, eco units like villagers and fishing ships, etc. were idle compared to WeanDinchester, so a little bit less than triple there. So yeah, pretty commanding win for WeanDinchester on the game. Although Snapy did have success in some areas, conversions, water control, it was just WeanDinchester had such commanding control of the land, the mountain range, the mountain passes. So this was a really good game on this map, and I'm really happy to see the game played out as it did, with a with some water combat turning into a real battle, basically for victory on land. So there we go. That's that first set. I am going to pull kind of an intermission screen up. That's the next match that we're going to be covering is round 2. It's Chanchilaru versus HappytheAndy. I also wanted to look at one thing. Yeah, there was no handicap in the first set. These are high-level players, so I don't think they would be apt to get any handicap. The handicap, it looks like, is reserved generally for lower elo players. In fact, I don't see anybody really from below, like, the 7th or 8th seed from the bottom, getting any handicap at all, at least in the first sprint. Alright, so I'm going to step away for a couple minutes, take a quick break, get some water. Actually, probably going to get a quick bite to eat, just a snack, and I'll bring it to the desk. And after that, we'll go ahead and get the 2 games from the second set pulled up. So just hang tight, enjoy the music, and, well, you know what? Actually, I'm going to pull these pretty images back up from the starting screen here. So enjoy, and I'll be back momentarily. Alright, we're back. I have got myself... unfortunately, no cookies. I need to find somebody that has cookies that I can pirate them. I couldn't resist. I do have chocolate-covered pretzels, though. Pretty delicious in their own right. Alright. Yeah, Tech says I will enjoy, yes. Credit to Tech for getting these images put together. They are AI generated. Some of them you can tell, but they still look good. But some of them look so realistic that you might not know that they were AI generated if we didn't say anything about them. So, really good compilation of these pictures. And for today's cast, I took the pictures of Kodiak and the other two maps, which are Chanchilaru Lake and Denali. We'll talk about that in a moment. And generally what I think I'll do is go through and each cast that I do, the video, the slideshow of all these different pictures will be of the maps that are going to be featured in that cast. So anyway, let's go ahead and go back down into... We've got Sprint 1, Round 2. Mentioned it. Chanchilaru versus HappytheAndy. No handicap for either player. And they are both in the upper half in terms of tournament elo. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the map draft real quick here. This is the map draft for this matchup. So, for round 2, map of the round is Chanchilaru Lake, made by Zetnus. An absolutely fantastic map. And so Chanchilaru... Can't see... yeah, there's a little bit of a delay there. So yeah, Chanchilaru picks Chanchilaru Lake, and then I believe he bans... Yeah, so he bans it, and then Andy bans one, and then they take turns until one map is left. So, we have Kenai, Kodiak, and China banned by Chanchilaru, and Andy bans Columbia, Utqiagvik, and Yukon Gold Rush. Which means that Denali is the last map remaining, so that will be the map for Game 2. Now, if we take a look at the Civ draft, except it isn't really a Civ draft per se, it's just you take turns banning Civs. Chanchilaru bans the Armenians, the Georgians, and the Tatars. Interesting. Andy bans the Lithuanians, the Saracens, and the Persians. For Season 5, I want to see a rule that the Lithuanians cannot be banned. Oh, it breaks my heart every time. Lithuanians, when I was first introduced to the Definitive Edition, Lithuanians very quickly became my favorite Civ in the game. And they've they've been nerfed, but they're still, I think they're pretty good. And apparently everybody else still thinks they're pretty good because they ban them all the time. Oh man, it breaks my heart. Not really, but yeah. Now we do see them getting banned a lot. Persians, we see them getting banned. Armenians and Georgians, I can understand that. Tatars is an interesting choice for a ban for, in my opinion. But, okay, so that's what they've got banned. Let's go ahead and jump into the cast. Alright, so this is Chanchilaru Lake by Zetnus. This is an absolutely fantastic map. As much as I criticized Kodiak, you will hear me praise Chanchilaru Lake. Let's go ahead and get the game rolling. Come on. There we go. Okay. We have HappytheAndy in yellow over here playing as the Japanese, and we have Chanchilaru playing in blue as the Dravidians over here. Now, Chanchilaru Lake made by Zetnus. I have to be totally honest, and I mean no disrespect to anybody else who's made maps, but this is probably my favorite map in Season 4. And this was actually an idea that I had, but I absolutely have no ability to make a map as intricate as this. So Zetnus did a fantastic job taking the idea that I had for it. Chanchilaru Lake, just like all of them, are based on a real-world location, but this is a small lake, and it is a very kind of, I'm going to call it a micro-location, that I actually discovered many years ago playing Flight Simulator, as weird as it sounds, and it became one of my favorite, and still is today when I do my Flight Sim streams, is one of my favorite locations to fly into and out of in Alaska. And the unique configuration of the lake, it's a L shape or boomerang shape, and the mountain pass, its northern location, it is above the Arctic Circle, but below the tree line, so you do get these really lush boreal forests. I said I have to have Chanchilaru Lake as a map in Season 4, and Zetnus has done an absolutely fantastic job with it. There's a summer and winter version. Yeah, Tech Chariot points that out there. HappytheAndy was surprised by the frozen lake. Alright. We talked about the seasonal variation in Kodiak. It doesn't affect the way the map plays, it just changes how it looks. Chanchilaru Lake, it has a massive impact on how the map plays. So, in the winter, of course, there's going to be snow on the ground, snow on the trees. The lake is frozen. What that means is that, well, being frozen, hence it's covered in ice, of course. What that means in terms of gameplay is that the lake is not dockable, meaning you're not going to see a single ship. The ice is walkable, of course, and then there is a minor rule change to the map in the winter version, and that is that you can actually build a mill on the ice. It is the only building that you can build on the ice, but it basically allows you to send villagers out to collect all of these shorefish. There's a ton of shorefish. And not have to walk all the way back all over the place to carry. There's a hunter under attack where? Uh-oh. Oh, yes, the bear. Of course, we have the Alaskan bears that will, if you get too close, they will chase you, but if you run away from them, they will eventually turn away and just get disinterested and go do their own thing. And, of course, the bears provide food. So, this spawn of Chanchilaru Lake, compared to the one that we covered yesterday, the lake is angled a little bit differently. It also takes up a little bit more of the map. And I would say most importantly, the players are... Oh, he used the house to de-aggro the bear. Yeah, since it's on defensive stance, it ultimately, I guess, was not necessary. Good point out, Tech. Anyway, compared to yesterday, the players start considerably further away. Like, they started almost next to each other in yesterday's, feature of this map. Alright, Chanchilaru's clicked up to Feudal Age. The other thing I want to point out, we haven't seen it yet. The summer version of this map course, there's not going to be snow. The lake is not frozen over, and that means that you can sail, but you obviously cannot build or walk across the lake. So it's important to point out, being able to walk across the lake means that you can get across it easily to, I guess, the outer edge. I guess we'll call it the outer edge, and this is the inner edge of the lake. And that can have some serious implications if a player tries to run to rebuild, as we saw yesterday, or tries to expand to this side. It's not all that difficult to get across the ice, whereas in the summer version, you have to go all the way around, or you have to sail units across the water. Chanchilaru's hit feudal. We don't see HappytheAndy clicking up yet. Oh, now he does. Okay. But that's going to be an over 2 minute head up for Chanchilaru getting into feudal. Don't mind me as I snack on some chocolate-covered pretzels here. Now here it looks like we see Chanchilaru kind of, maybe starting a little bit of walling off. Or at least maybe just gonna protect the wood line. I don't know if he's intending to build all the way out down over here as well. That remains to be seen. This is one of the more aggressive maps that we've seen. And that remains true even though the players are starting further apart than they can. Ah, yes. Okay, here we go. So Chanchilaru had sent an archer and a spearman over, and HappytheAndy takes down the archer with his Eagle Scout, but here comes a spearman into HappytheAndy's base. And archers over here, and or an archer and his own Eagle Scout to harass HappytheAndy's fishermen. They're not gonna win that fight. Ah, so there's a Vil kill. Still trying to fend it off, and a skirmisher to deal with the archer. The skirmisher is not going to take that eagle down, but there's more of them here. But he's pulling back, but... Oh man, archer goes down, but that's another villager lost. So HappytheAndy down 2 villagers. Excuse me. Able to come back and fish, and it looks like Chanchilaru pulls his Eagle Scout back, or no, did he? No, he pulled it over here. He's just kind of able to see what's going on over there. But we had some more archers and spearmen come over, but this time HappytheAndy is prepared with some skirmishers to counter those. And yes, it does look like Chanchilaru is actually trying to wall this portion off entirely. And he'd still be able to pass around the backside, but I think he'd have at least a little bit of a heads up. We have a couple scouts, a couple more archers. Wow. So Chanchilaru really using a wide variety of units to put some feudal age pressure on HappytheAndy. We've seen spearmen, we've seen scouts, we've seen his Eagle Scout, we've seen archers. And we've got HappytheAndy with a scout of his own, and a couple archers and skirmishers. Oh, but those are going to go down pretty quick to those cav. Yeah. Yep, alright, so they trade there. They might... Nope. Yep, archer's still going down, skirmisher's going down, and... Yeah, Chanchilaru sending more archers over here. That's a fight that he's gonna... No, it isn't a fight that he's gonna win. Wow, actually, HappytheAndy was able to stave that off. But he did lose a lot of units in the process. But if you take a look, they're pretty much equal. But HappytheAndy losing 4 eco units, which would be these fishermen villagers. And Chanchilaru has not lost 1. So he's definitely got the advantage there. Score's relatively close though. Take a look at this. Pretty clean eco gameplay. Less than 1 minute of idle TC time for both players, and their idle eco percentages are very close. 1.8 compared to 1.7. And we have more... Where? I mean, I can hear it, I can see the notifications of it, but I'm looking to see where it's actually happening. Oh, yeah, no, must have been over here. Skirmishers cleaning up. Some of Chanchilaru's raiding units. Archer plus Scout is a big investment. That is not clean for this skill level. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Compared to what we've been seeing. Now, it is true they're higher level players. But... Yeah. I get it. Look at this. Chanchilaru has walled off completely. Oh, look here. HappytheAndy able to put his own composition together to come and harass. But it actually looks like Chanchilaru was prepared for it. And that he was, but, HappytheAndy pulling back. Now, he could get right here and start taking out some of these. Why go for the building and let them know that you're here? I was gonna say, I believe these would be accessible with the archers. Maybe? Yeah, they are! So, I don't know. I think that's a mistake from HappytheAndy. Coming up here and taking a whack, because that's just gonna let Chanchilaru know to bring his units over. And makes pretty little work of... Yeah. Now, that was not a good move. In my opinion. Certainly you could have taken out a couple villagers with those archers, but don't let the units come up and start taking chip shots at the building and trying to cut that down. Yeah, so Chanchilaru able to... Yeah, Chanchilaru able to continue fishing over here. Both players have clicked up to castle. Again, Chanchilaru is about a minute ahead. HappytheAndy over here fishing. And we've got actually some of HappytheAndy's own kind of wall off over here. And Chanchilaru has some units here in the middle. Looks like he's massing some stuff up. Now he's got some villagers coming forward. I wonder what he's gonna do. Siege workshop, nice. Interesting. HappytheAndy just about to hit. Yep, there we go. Right there, he hits castle. Getting bloodlines and bodkin arrow and bowsaw. It's going to take a while to get a palisade wall down with some archers, but they're slowly but surely. But then he pulls back. Siege workshop, couple houses. I bet these villagers will go start taking this gold here. Maybe. Sure, that remains to be seen. Yep, there we go. Mangonel's gonna chip down those palisade walls. Yeah, they are not Saracen. Yeah, the Saracens got banned. And now we have crossbowmen. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Chanchilaru needs to not get too aggressive here. Now, I like this. He's moving right up next to the Mangonel to take it down, which is smart because the Mangonel can't target. It has that minimum range. But now we have crossbowmen against cav archers. And, yeah, Chanchilaru losing a pretty decent number of those, so he's not going to take the fight. HappytheAndy getting ballistics. Looking to see what's going on back here. Monastery? No, that's a university, sorry. Ha! I don't yeah, here it is. There's the monastery. Getting a monk now. Take a look at the monk, or relic placement here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 5th one there, so you could argue that Chanchilaru has a very slight advantage in terms of relic placement, because this 3rd one is a little bit closer to him than it is to HappytheAndy. But all of those relics are easily within range of all players, other than I would make the argument of this one. I think Chanchilaru might be able to sneak that one if he tried. Of course, standard victory, relic victories do come into play once in a while, but I really wish I would see more players go for relics. I will just say, the fact of somebody trying a wonder victory, I think, is a bit ridiculous on anything but a very closed-off map. But relic victories are a legitimate possibility here. But pretty much everything I've seen has been ended by conquest, so far. Although we do see players occasionally go for the relics, it may not necessarily be with the intent of a relic victory. It's usually just to get a major advantage on gold generation. Alright, now take a look at this. So, Chanchilaru's workshop, siege workshop, just got taken down by HappytheAndy's own siege units, and we have some cav archers here. Japanese cav archers again. This is the 2nd time today. The 2nd time in 2 games. Now we see Japanese cav archers. But that is kind of unique, and I like to see unique things. Oh. That's not good for Chanchilaru because HappytheAndy is in. He has broken through these defenses and is in at Chanchilaru's home base. However, Chanchilaru does have some crossbowmen to kind of protect himself. And look at this, he's clicked up to Imperial. He's only 20 seconds away from Imperial. And I think that is going to be a nasty surprise for HappytheAndy. Because if he upgrades these to Arbalesters or gets the Imperial Age blacksmith upgrades, these cav archers are not really going to be able to stop these. He might be able to pick a few of them off now. But nope, here comes Bracer. And upgrade to Arbalester. No defensive upgrades yet. He actually does clean those up. He does clean them up. So I think he got that in time. Although, yeah, he was able to garrison a few more. And, oh, that Mangonel's just gonna melt. Which it does. Cav Archer's coming in. Now. Oh, hold on. That seemed like an abrupt GG. Huh. Wow. It is a good game. I'm kind of surprised as to why it ended very abruptly like that. Well, HappytheAndy wasn't taken back. I mean, he still had a pretty good group of Cav Archers. I just wonder if it was... He maybe felt like he wasn't going to be able to get upgrades in time to counter these going up to Arbalester and Bracer. I don't know if he knew that Chanchilaru had Bracer. Maybe he did. He certainly would recognize that they're Arbalesters, and I just wonder if he didn't think that he had a good enough ability to counter them, or if he just realized that this was basically going to be too well defended and to just call it. I don't know. So, it seemed like calling the GG may have been a little bit early, but hey, I don't know. I wasn't playing the game, so I don't know what was going on in his mind. He may have had multiple reasons for calling it that I can't really even speculate about. So, most created unit, Cav Archer and Arbalester. Let's take a look at the stats here. Military scores were close, eco scores were very close, and technology scores not too far apart either. Look at this. Not a single castle from either player. I'm actually kind of impressed by that. And I like to see that. The castle's a very important unit in building in Age of Empires. But it isn't necessarily always necessary. A little bit of a play on words there. But in this case, both players just used stock units. No unique units, no unique upgrades, stuff like that, to just secure a, well, to fight and to ultimately, for Chanchilaru to secure a victory. Take a look at the military. Their kills and losses were not far apart. Now, and this is really interesting too, HappytheAndy raised 8 buildings and didn't lose a single one. Army High, see, these were not too far apart. So this was turning out to be what seemed relatively close, and again, that's why I'm a little bit baffled that the GG came when it did. Overall resource collection, pretty close. Chanchilaru had a substantial lead with the food, but otherwise, close on wood, close on gold. HappytheAndy taking stone, Chanchilaru never did. But you can see their lines are relatively close there. Technology-wise, now let's point this out. This is a 2.5 minute lead into feudal for Chanchilaru, and then a 1 minute lead into castle. And Imperial, HappytheAndy never made it into Imperial. I don't think he even clicked into it. HappytheAndy did explore more of the map, and their research count, the counts were higher, or the same, but the percentage was different. higher for Chanchilaru just because there were fewer overall technologies to be researched. Villager count's pretty close. No fishing. Well, yeah, because the winter version of the map, no fish. No fish. No fishing ships. Of course, the shore fish are able to be milled, as we have discussed. And their overall, HappytheAndy ultimately toward the end of the game had less idle TC time and less idle eco time. So, yeah, I don't really know. This is a little bit of a mystery to me, but okay. Let's go ahead and get Game 2 pulled up. Alright, here we go. Game 2. This is on Denali, made by none other than Tech Chariot. Go ahead and get the game rolling here. We have Chanchilaru playing as the Gurjaras over here on the left side of the map in blue. HappytheAndy playing as the Britons on the right side and in yellow. So, Denali made by Tech Chariot. This is a very unique map. Very interesting map, for sure. Of course, this is made to resemble a glacier and a slope of Denali, which is the tallest mountain in North America. 20,000 feet, or I believe that's about 60... I don't know exactly how much, 6,500 meters or something like that. It's probably not that, maybe 6,000 or so. Very tall mountain, though. And cold. So it looked like we had a little bit of fighting with the Eagles. And I also... Oh my gosh, that's not a good start. So he did. Wow. Within the first 2 minutes, yeah, Chanchilaru lost a villager to a bear. So that's a very early, unfortunate setback for him. Let's see if he's able to recover from that. So, anyway, there's no wood on... Well, there are no trees on the map, so your wood is gathered from wood piles. You have a couple outposts. Bears are dangerous, yes, of course, people. People watch more and more, they'll understand the, they'll understand more about that. But yeah, maybe he can. We'll see. And there's another bear over there that he's gonna have to be careful of. He just walked... What looked to be, he just walked, like, straight through the cliff. Unless it's a rock formation, not a cliff. That's a rock formation, I think. I didn't even talk about the matchup in the first. The Gurjaras and the Britons. Longbowmen for the Britons. See, I'm not familiar with the Indian Dynasties DLC civs that were added. So I really can't analyze and speculate on which one's going to be better. So Chanchilaru's scouting out up here toward the summit of the mountain. And I believe all of the relics are located up here on, well, basically at the summit. And there's a few sheep scattered about. There are some ibex that can be pushed or milled. Here's some more sheep. Watch this, he's coming down over to this side, and I think he's going to try to steal some sheep. Yes, he is. Yes, he is! In fact, he is. That's going to be 3, 4, 5, yeah, 5 sheep that he's just able to run away with. Wow. Uh-oh. Okay, yep, nope, he got it this time.
Huh.
Well, there's one bear. Yeah. And there's the second one. So maybe HappytheAndy hasn't tried to get any bears yet. A mining camp. Oh, that's gonna be a rude. Better get out of there. Oh boy. Better get out of there. Better get out of there rapidly. Now he's got the hill advantage. Yep, he turns away. Wow. Oh, so he's gonna actually hunt it from the... Oh, nope, villager goes down. Oh boy. Yep, but he takes the bear there. Yeah, so HappytheAndy losing a villager to a bear there. Oh. He pulled back one injured villager, and the next one that he went for was the one that was very low health. Alright, take a look at this. HappytheAndy up into feudal first. And he actually makes it in just a moment before, Chanchilaru clicks up, so kind of the reverse of the first game. Oh, we've got a barracks from Chanchilaru coming up here. Why is that loss not reflected in the eco? Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, both players have lost one villager to a bear. Now take a look at this there. HappytheAndy sending his Eagle Scout over straight to Chanchilaru's base. I think just to the outer limits of the arrow fire. Oh, but take a look at this. Well, we've got 2 Eagle Scouts running around the map chasing each other and taking pop shots at each other, and that's interesting. Sorry, I was looking. Yeah, no worries. It happens. Now, it looked like those arrows went way further than... I don't know. So, Chanchilaru getting a kill on one of HappytheAndy's... I believe it was the archer that he had sent over. Probably was, since he's Britain. So now we see him getting fletching. And yeah, Chanchilaru is hit feudal now. Oh yeah, no, take a look here. Oh, he's gonna... Oh no! So we have a watchtower going up. And oh, Chanchilaru loses a villager there to the archer fire. And the Eagle Scout coming over, and it... Oh, the Eagle Scout goes down too. Oh, this... Oh, man. Oh, but that watchtower does go up, but can't fire these because no murder holes. And of course, you can't get that until the Castle Age. Maybe... I think Castle. It might not even be Imperial, but I'm pretty sure it's Castle. But yeah, no. They're able to take those archers down. All of HappytheAndy's units over here come down. But Not before Chanchilaru did take a, take another villager loss. The watchtower goes up, and this is a good location. It secures the gold right here. And it also is on a high point, so anybody that comes over here... Murder Holes is a Castle Age tech, thanks. I thought so. So that is shored up. Let's take a look at what's going on over here. Oh yes, an archer coming over to harass more, woodcutters. And HappytheAndy has the higher ground over here, so that's going to be a disadvantage for Chanchilaru. And it almost looks like he's kind of... Hold on. Did he just walk through the mountain? He just walked through the mountain. It looked like he walked on top of it, but yeah, he's walking straight through it. Oh, man. But yeah, no, HappytheAndy off to a good start, really putting a lot of pressure on Chanchilaru over here. And an outpost under attack. Is it this outermost one? I didn't see where it was coming from. Under fire from. But take a look, HappytheAndy's got his archers just parked right over here. That house isn't going up. And Chanchilaru needs to figure out an answer pretty quick, and I think that answer is going to be skirmishers or scouts. And we do see stables. And Chanchilaru has hit castle, and he's getting bloodlines. That could spell a little trouble for HappytheAndy. But over here, he is very safe and happy at home on his half of the map. Other than the fact, I don't even know if he's discovered it. He may not know that he's even, like, had any sheep taken from this side. I don't know. I was thinking about that. Ah, yes, more action over here, and let's see what it is. Shrivamsha Riders. I think I'm saying that right. And the Shrivamsha Riders go and clean up those archers. There's a market. No blacksmith upgrades. Did Chanchilaru even build a blacksmith? I don't think so. No. No. No blacksmith. And I really wish I'd seen more players utilize blacksmith upgrades. So I've noticed that a fair bit. I mean, in the previous game, it looked like they did. But I've noticed that a fair bit so far, is that people don't really seem to be prioritizing the blacksmith. And maybe that's not something you do at high-level gameplay. I don't know. Maybe it's just changed. I don't know. Oh, but now take a look at this. HappytheAndy's not so happy at home, pun intended. Because Chanchilaru sends his Shrivamsha Riders over to disrupt HappytheAndy at home. But we see pikemen. And so that's kind of where playing aggressively with the archers over here, you could see what Chanchilaru was using to fend them off, and I think HappytheAndy, expecting that, goes into pikemen, and yeah, so the Shrivamsha Riders are being fended off, but what I haven't pointed out is that Chanchilaru came over and did massive damage to HappytheAndy's eco. I didn't see where they went down, but he lost a ton of villagers on that raid. Tech says, I would like to see HappytheAndy wall more. Yeah. And you can see where he kind of started to, but it looks kind of segmented. And yeah, there's still a lot of weak points where where Chanchilaru can get in. But I mean, he's just sustained so many eco units lost over here. And I didn't even see them go down. And I wish I had. If I had Pro, I would rewind to highlight to see exactly where it happened. Because that was major. And I think I just happened to be focused on the wrong thing at that time. Even though we could see him running over. Didn't get to zoom in and see the action actually take place. Procaster moment. Now, but take a look over here. HappytheAndy with some crossbowmen. Looks like he's trying to seek out some revenge. That's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it. And I criticized that action in the first game when HappytheAndy had those archers that could take down some of Chanchilaru's woodcutters, and instead he went for the house to basically alarm Chanchilaru that he was there. Now, he does pull them back and go around the mountains over here, which could be a little bit of a diversionary tactic, but could also catch him by surprise. No, why? No, don't do that! Again, the archer's firing at a building. Okay, there we go, there we go. No. Holy cow, 3 wolves right there all go down. Huh. Of course, the Shrivamsha riders are going to have no problem cleaning up the wolves. I was surprised that there were 3 of them right there. I didn't notice that. HappytheAndy looks like he might be coming out of this on top. Chanchilaru's lost a number of Shrivamsha riders right over here. But coming down, now he's got a disadvantage of terrain. The height advantage. Yeah, so he loses quite a few right there, but I think he is going to win. He is going to win this fight. Maybe. Nope, well, here comes some more Shrivamsha riders. Yeah, there's more wolves. There's a ton of wolves that all just come out of here. Yeah, no, now he's not winning that. I think he's down to 2, and yeah. That was very costly for HappytheAndy. Yeah, and he just took a really massive raid. And Chanchilaru is running ahead with the score right now. Oh, there's some more combat right out here in the middle of the glacier, yeah. Yeah, they're gonna take these. Yeah. Well, he does lose 1 there. And he loses another there. But yeah, able to clean up the pikemen. Doesn't want to take that fight, interesting. Alright, it looks like Chanchilaru has gotten scale barding armor. Has not gotten chain barding, though, yet. Horse collar, holy cow. HappytheAndy has bodkin arrow, he has scale mail armor. Well, more wolves. The wolf invasion. More crossbowmen grouped together here, and pikemen. Yeah, so HappytheAndy definitely massing up. And is he maybe going to try to engage? It looks like he is. As HappytheAndy, or as Chanchilaru masses up some more Shrivamsha riders. Apparently for another attempt on a raid. And oh, he's actually letting them get over there. Oh, no. This could be bad for HappytheAndy. Yep, another villager down. And we're here to watch the carnage right here. Now he doesn't do near as much damage there, but he's still able to pick a couple more villagers off. Now back over here.
Ready.
Yeah, they're just chipping away at a mill. Take a look there, though. Chanchilaru's got a castle up. And I like that location. It's defensive, but it's forward enough. And it's going to give him a good outlook in case anything crosses or attempts to cross the glacier here, separating the two players. Oh, now look at this. HappytheAndy's in. Now he's starting to get some revenge here. Take a look at this. Chanchilaru losing some villagers. Yeah. Starting to kind of even out a little bit. Yeah, just villagers dropping down over here. No one garrison in the watchtower. Yeah. Oh, here come the Shrivamsha riders, but the pikemen are following. But up into the safety of the castle, yeah, they don't dare. They don't dare go up that way. Now we take a look over here, another raid. Just position in, it looks like he's gonna dive it. Oh, but he catches on time, but oh, yeah, he's gonna get a few more villagers right over here. Oh man. Able to pick off some of these woodcutters. The pikemen chasing him out. Is that a, yep. No, maybe not. I was gonna say it looked like another villager over here was gonna be a casualty, but it looks like he wasn't. I'll take a look over here, though. I think that's another villager that Chanchilaru just lost to these crossbowmen. So both players actually raiding each other in different ways. And there's another castle coming up here toward the summit of the mountain. And it's interesting. I wonder if he's going to try to make a play for the relics. Or if he's maybe just trying to set up for a sneak down this side here. More carnage. Yeah, crossbowmen chasing these Shrivamsha riders. Alright, now take a look at this. Chanchilaru's clicked up to Imperial. HappytheAndy isn't even close.
Yes.
Oh. Apparently the two players aren't a fan of the map. Well. Yeah, well, not everybody's gonna like every map. Alright. I don't think it's anything about the about the design. Those riders are so annoying, yeah. Yeah, but I'm kind of wondering here, because take a look at these archers, or the crossbowmen coming in. Now he's getting some hits on Chanchilaru's gold miners. A few more are gonna drop down. Yeah, they should have banned it. I don't know, maybe they... Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure why they felt that way, but yeah, HappytheAndy calling the GG right there. Yeah, I don't know. I think he just wasn't able to set him back. Maybe it was when he saw, because right there, Chanchilaru hit Imperial. So maybe he called it at that point. So Chanchilaru sweeps the set 2-0. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats here. Overall, the units, yeah, 27 Shrivamsha Riders, most created unit for Chanchilaru, and then 46 Crossbowmen for HappytheAndy. In terms of their idle TC time, quite high for players of this skill, exceptionally high for Chanchilaru. 2.5 over HappytheAndy, and the idle eco a little over double as well. Take a look at the statistics. The military scores were kind of close. Chanchilaru having I should say, a considerably more established economy. Technology, a little bit of a bump for Chanchilaru as well, and 2 castles compared to 0. Overall score lead. The kill to death ratio again wasn't all that far apart, although it was a little bit higher for Chanchilaru this time around. No buildings were raised the entire match by either player. No conversions, we didn't see any monks. And army high. Alright, eco. Let's talk about eco. Similar wood collection, much higher food collection, and I noticed that HappytheAndy got horse collar quite late, and I wonder if that had part to do with it, or maybe more so because HappytheAndy just didn't really need to take food. It's probably a factor of that as well, given he probably would not need to take much food, given archers are wood and gold. Gold collection was fairly close. HappytheAndy, of course, never taking stone. Chanchilaru did because he needed to build castles. Neither player ever went for the relics. Of course, the relics are all on the top of the map, so you kind of have to go out of your way to get them. Technology-wise, yeah, 2.5 minute... Yeah, look at this. 2.5 minute lead time for HappytheAndy into feudal, and then 2.5 minute lead time for Chanchilaru into castle, and then he hit Imperial right at the 40-minute mark. Both players explored exactly 75% of the map. That's pretty funny, and the technology counts were quite similar. I did want to point this out, back on the eco. I forgot before I switched the tab here. Just take a look right here. HappytheAndy was actually ahead in terms of eco collection. And then it crossed in mid-castle, and Chanchilaru ran ahead, and that was right about the time that Chanchilaru had that devastating raid on HappytheAndy. And yeah, actually the exact timing of that leads me to believe that HappytheAndy did resign as soon as Chanchilaru got Imperial there. And if we go back to the overall, yeah, take a look right here. And this is where you can see a ton of the villagers getting cut down. Right around the time that Chanchilaru hit. Well, no. No, it was actually right around the time that he himself hit Castle, is when that devastating raid occurred. Back to Society score. At Villager max, 91 to 51. 2 castles to 0, we talked about that. Yeah, well, there we go. So, Chanchilaru again sweeps the set. So, congrats to him. Kudos to HappytheAndy. I think he played well. He was actually doing quite well in certain aspects. I still don't know why he resigned. It seemed premature on the first game. I can totally understand on this one. But I wish good luck to both players in the rest of the league. I wish good luck to our players from the first set. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this one, folks. I hope you all enjoyed the cast. I look forward to bringing you some more content here in the future. As always, until then, take care, stay safe, we'll see ya.